Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a kind of a special episode of the Deadly Nutter Butter podcast. If you're new here, my name's John. People online call me Deadly Nutter Butter because that's my username or whatever. But if normally I just talk about tech or personal things, but today I have some thoughts and opinions on the new Star Wars movies, Rise of Skywalker. It came out recently, obviously, the 21st. I guess it came out Thursday or Friday, however you want to look at it. But I saw it yesterday, the 21st, on a Saturday. And it's just wow. I mean, wow. I knew it was going to be a mess, but holy shit. Is it a fucking mess? It's if you want to know real quick how it's just not good. It's just not good. There are a lot of reasons why. A ton actually. I actually wrote down like 4 pages of notes of why this movie is just not good. Honestly, I could have kept going. I spent a good part of my morning right now writing shit down because in my head, like I was thinking of doing this, obviously, doing this podcast episode, but I couldn't get my thoughts formulated great. Because there's just a lot for me to say, and if I just went into this blind, it would have came out a mess. So I'm gonna try to stick to my outline note script thing or whatever you want to call it. We're gonna try to stick to that, and hopefully things will not come out so I don't know, confusing, messed up. Hopefully it'll make sense. That's what I'm trying to say. Obviously it might not now, but hopefully it'll make sense. So here we go. And obviously, I should say this, if you haven't seen the movie yet, see it and then listen to this, because I'm going in full spoilers. I don't care, like, spoiler reviews aren't out yet. I don't give a shit about any of that. I'm talking spoilers because it's hard for me to talk about what I want to talk about without talking about the majority of the spoilers that happen in this movie. So if you haven't seen it and you don't want it spoiled for you, just leave now. Just close the window out. You have like 5 seconds. 4, 3, and 2, and 1. Let's go. So one of the most glaring issues this movie has is pacing and tonal issues. Like, it's very obvious from the very beginning, because there's actually this scene in the beginning. It has Poe and Finn and Chewie, and they're basically I think he calls it like time hopping or warp speed hopping or whatever, and it goes from place to place to place, for planet to planet to planet, and it does it very quickly, very rapidly. This is a great analogy of how this movie is going to play out, because it's exactly how it plays out from plot point to plot point to plot point. And when we go from location to location, location in the movie, and we go from emotion to emotion to emotion in the movie very, very quickly. I mean, hang on a second. One of like the biggest smack in the face where this is very obvious is when Rey thinks she has killed Chewie. She accidentally blows up a ship that Chewie is on. He's been captured, yada, yada, yada. She accidentally blows it up with force lightning, and it's like, oh my God, Chewie's dead. But then they're being like, surrounded by the First Order troopers, and then Poe and Finn are like screaming at her, like, come on, we gotta go. And then the screen does a wipe, and all of a sudden they're on an asteroid, just chilling out, and Rey's trying to like go into how she feels that the fact she killed Chewie, and then it goes on quickly to the next thing, and there's no breathing room for like the audience to like come to grips with that Chewie is probably dead. Like, that character from episodes 1 to 9 is well, wait, not 1 to 9. Wow, that's bad. From 3 to 9 is now dead, and there's no breathing room for it. Like, you feel bad, and you want to like I don't want to say wallow in that emotion, but you kind of want to like stay in that emotion for a little bit, and the movie doesn't let you do that. It goes on to the next thing very quickly. Even Kylo Ren's death scene is the exact same way. He uses his force powers to give his life to Rey to save her from her death. And then, they kiss. And then Kylo just kind of ghosts her. He just kind of leaves and he disappears. And then Rey gets in or in Luke's X-Wing, I should say, takes off. People are celebrating that they defeated the First Order again. And then she goes to Tatooine and the movie ends. Like, there's nothing that like makes Kylo Ren's death like meaningful at all. There's no like emotional weight to that scene. There's nothing to it. He just dies and the movie quickly moves on to the next thing. And these two things are like, there's more in this movie that's like this, but these are like the biggest things in the movie because so much happens so quickly in this movie that it got exhausting trying to actually keep up with everything. Like, the movie starts off, again, not with Poe, but with Kylo Ren. He's looking for this wayfinder, and then it jumps to him using it to find Palpatine, who is in this movie, obviously. And then Palpatine tells him to go kill Rey, and then the movie moves on. Like Kylo just kind of found out that Palpatine is still alive after all these years, after being thrown down a fucking shaft and hitting a nuclear. I mean, what? How like nothing in this movie gives the audience a chance to like really read into the scene and feel the scene and feel like new things and new information coming at them. The fact that Palpatine is alive is a pretty big fucking deal, but the movie just doesn't even bother with it at all. Okay, I'm getting a little ahead of myself because I do touch on that in a bit. But right now, we're going to go into the fact that people don't know how to die in this movie, like, at all. When Chewie died, I was like, oh shit, this movie is going to take some risk here with one of the biggest Star Wars characters dying, one of the most loved characters dying. Nope. That's not gonna happen. Rey destroyed the wrong ship. Chewie's just fine. Cue happy John Williams music. And this happens more than once. And it's really unfortunate because, I mean, it would have been interesting to see Rey deal with the emotional fallout of her actions. Like, she obviously had no control over the Force, or she has very little training in the Force. It got out of hand. She accidentally killed Chewie. She has to deal with that and like the temptations to the dark side, all that good stuff could have been there. I mean, remember how Anakin accidentally killed Padme because of his power, and then he was just fully consumed in the dark side after that? Well, yeah, kind of the same thing here. Obviously, a little bit different because Chewie's Chewie and Rey's Rey, but it would have kind of been similar. Kind of. It's poetry. It rhymes. You know what I'm saying? Another kind of death, but not really, but sort of, was C-3PO having his whole memory erased. It's not a death. It's a little different, but it's still kind of like, you know, C-3PO would have lost his memory of everything. He would have came up blank. He kind of died. He would have kind of died, but he doesn't obviously die or anything. Whatever. He even says that the R2 unit, R2D2, doesn't have a backup of his memory because they have awful storage capacity. Like, they just forget things, I suppose. But that was a fucking lie, because R2 obviously had a backup of C-3PO's memory, because R2 backs up his memory in the movie, like within a couple scenes even. Like, nothing is ever linger. Like, it was a nice moment when C-3PO said, you know, he wants to have a last look at his friends before dying, I guess, and then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And also, when he says that R2 units have terrible storage, like memory or whatever, did like the movie forget R2 had Leia's message stored on the R2 unit in The Last Jedi? Like, did the movie forget? Hello? Is the movie there? Does someone writing this movie like not watch The Last Jedi at all? No, I know. A lot of people have very strong feelings about The Last Jedi, but this isn't that place for it. Kylo Ren not dying. Are you kidding me? Like, he gets stabbed by Rey. Clearly should have died there. And that, I guess, was it Endor? I'm pretty sure it was Endor. Whatever. In the remnants of the Death Star, he should have died there. But didn't, because Rey can kill him. Or Rey can heal him, sorry. Rey can heal him, and then, yeah. Rey can't kill anybody, obviously, in this movie. Can't kill Chewie, can't kill Kylo. Can only kill Palpatine, sort of, by herself, sort of. Even the little side character that Poe wants to shoot ropes in is, can't die. She can't die. Even after her planet gets blown up, she can't die. No one in this fucking movie dies. The only person that really dies that I know of that's a major, I won't say major character, but the one character from Lost, the big guy, he's in it again. I guess he's J.J. Abrams' friend, so obviously he's going to be in it. But even he, only he dies. I guess Leia dies, but I guess that was going to be kind of obvious given the stance that Carrie Fisher is actually dead. But yeah, so no one in this movie really dies or learns from their actions because no one dies. No one really dies. Everything's fine. Everything's great. This movie is going great. But the biggest one that shows that, you know, no one's ever really gone. We're going back to that. Thank you, Disney, for that. Shovel to the head. No one really gone. No one's ever really gone. No one's ever really gone. It's great. But yeah, Palpatine is back and he's active and he's very much alive. But yeah, Abrams never really gave an explanation at all. Not even like a throwaway line how he's alive. Even like the beginning crawl that we get in Star Wars films just kind of says he's a voice and he's here. And people in the movie, all the characters just accept that he's alive. They just accept it. He's like, yep, he's here. He's cool. I wouldn't say he's cool, but yeah, it's all good. This is normal. This happens. The biggest character, the most feared character in all Star Wars, or person, or however you want to say it, is alive and well and kicking and still doing evil shenanigans. And we don't know how he did it. We just know he's alive. There's no, God damn it. It is aggravating when shit like this happens because a damn throwaway line is all we could have needed. All we could have needed. But we don't even get that. We get nothing. He's just there. Just imagine for a second. You stayed away from all the trailers, all the posters, everything. And you had no idea Palpatine was going to be in this movie. No idea at all. Couldn't you honestly go back and watch The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi and find any foreshadowing of Palpatine being in this trilogy at all? Like, you can't because Palpatine shouldn't be in this movie. His character should have died in Return of the Jedi. Should have died then and there. But no, let's just bring it back because we don't know what the fuck we're doing because we started this trilogy without an actual game plan. And we're just going to make it up as we go along. And it's very obvious the fact that they did that with this movie. Because if they had an actual plan, they wouldn't have to revert back to nostalgia every goddamn scene just to get this movie like moving. Damn. Just damn. There's... Wow. Just like it's so frustrating to talk about because I feel like I have a lot to say and it all wants to come out at once and it's hard for me to really contain it, which is why I wrote down a lot of this stuff. But anyway, so him being back though, it ruins the saga. Wow. Here I am talking like Lando. Can't pronounce Han or Han. Anyways, yeah, ruins the saga. Remember that, oh god damn, that amazing character arc we got from Anakin from episode 1 to episode 6. He starts off innocent, turns evil, and then from episode 4 to 6, it's like a redemption thing. He has to deal with the turmoil of the light in him and eventually comes out good. And oh wow, he is the chosen one that brought back balance to the Force. Everything is great. Not really relevant now, is it? He was just a prop. He is now just a prop for Rey. That's what he is now. That whole arc, that whole 6-movie fucking arc is now wiped because Palpatine's alive. Like, he didn't kill Palpatine. He didn't. He didn't bring balance to the Force. He didn't do anything. He tried. He tried adamantly. He tried, but no. Now Anakin is a prop for Rey. Rey is the new chosen one because she actually killed Palpatine, sort of, by herself, but not really. And it's just like, how do you throw away a 6-movie arc like that for Rey? Like, why? Why couldn't Rey be her own amazing character? Why does she have to be a Skywalker or a Palpatine, which we'll get into later? Fucking by golly. Oh man, we're just getting warmed up, trust me. Flip my page here, as you can probably hear. Oh man, I forgot I wrote this. Okay, so Palpatine is a fucking idiot in this movie. It's just like, he is probably or is supposed to be one of the most smartest, most evilest characters ever. And holy shit, they make him an idiot. They make him an absolute idiot. Okay, so the man who was able to manipulate a whole galaxy into letting him rule them, and then, he makes the same mistake 4 times. Okay, makes the mistake 4 times. Planet killing tech is not the play. Stop it. Just stop it right now, Palpatine. Get some help. Planet killing technology is not the play. The Death Star in A New Hope wiped out my exhaust port. Return of the Jedi Death Star wiped out by engaging the reactor directly. Starkiller Base wiped out by engaging the thermal oscillator directly. But he changed it up this time. Instead of going from bigger to bigger to bigger, he went smaller, but with lots of them. He's like, all right, we're going to put this planet-killing technology on all these Star Destroyers, but we're going to make them really weak. Just make them really weak. If the cannon gets attacked directly, that ship, it's fucked. Like, the weakest, like, ooh, man. Are you kidding me right now, Palpatine? Are you fucking kidding me right now with this shit? You're going to tell me that the cannon is the weakest point on this fucking ship, and you just attack it directly and it blows up the whole ship and the whole goddamn thing is gone? Are you kidding me right now, Palpatine? Who the fuck put you in charge, and why are you so feared? You're an idiot. You're a goddamn idiot. Oh, man. Wow. It is so fucking bad. Like, how? Like, god damn. It's almost comically bad. It's comically bad and it's tragically bad all at the same time. It's just, how did this get written? How did someone go, yeah, this is how Palpatine is? Does the same thing 4 times and it doesn't work 4 times. You fucking learn eventually, right? I don't know. Maybe it's hard to coming up with ways to bring a whole galaxy to their knees and bow and, like, I guess, submit to you without technology like this. Like, you either submit or your whole fucking planet gets blown up. I guess it's kind of hard to get the galaxy to submit to you when you don't have something like this, but you think you'd learn you think you'd fucking learn not to make a Star Destroyer without, having the cannon being the weakest point on the ship. Like, come on now, Palpatine. I know you're better than this, but I can say, the Force lightning is the same fucking thing. All right, it's the exact same thing. So he tries killing Mace Windu back in Episode 3 with Force lightning, and Mace blocks it with his lightsaber, sending it directly at him. And what does Palpatine do? He doesn't turn off the Force lightning. He is effectively electrocuting himself here. It's a dumb move, but I mean, you could probably argue that he did it to make Anakin turn to the dark side. You can argue that. I can get behind that. Fine. But in this movie, he does the same thing. He does the exact same thing, shoots Force lightning at Rey. Rey blocks it, not with just one lightsaber. No. See, that was Mace's mistake. You need 2 lightsabers to really kill Palpatine, because that's what she got. That's all she needed. And he does the same thing. He doesn't turn off the Force lightning. He didn't learn. How do you not learn? How do you not see your fucking problem here, Palps? This is gonna be a fun podcast. It's just, goddamn. Like, okay, let's back up again real quick. you can make the argument that Starkiller Base was all Snoke's idea. That was his idea. But, as this movie clearly fucking demonstrates, Snoke is not, like his own character. Like it's not a separate like Snoke is just a puppet for Palpatine. Palpatine, quote unquote, made Snoke. He made him. Like, that is just like, what? And again, nothing is explained. Nothing is explained. Like, there's a shot of multiple Snokes in jars, and then a scene when Palpatine explains to Kylo that, yeah, he made Snoke, and that's it. Okay, movie. Okay, movie. You're gonna tell me, and like, what's worse is like, you look like go to Wikipedia, you read into Snoke. He was like this 1,000-year-old being who lived many years, saw lots of shit. No, apparently that was a fucking lie, because he is just made. And like the jar scene where it shows Snoke in all the jars, it's not like younger versions of Snoke. It is how we saw Snoke in The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. So obviously Palpatine is just making Snokes for, like, why does he have multiple of them anyways? Oh my god, so many fucking like, why have multiple Snokes? Like, it's pretty fucking obvious when the Supreme Leader dies, someone's gonna notice, and someone's gonna notice again if he's like, what? Why? Oh man, why? It doesn't make the lick of sense. This movie right now doesn't make sense. And we still got more pages to get through, baby. And after that, I still have more comments. Oh, wow. All right, so this movie doesn't really, like, it makes the Force more confusing. It really does. I don't understand it anymore. Like, for a while, I thought it was just like a feeling, but then the prequels showed it to be like, oh, you can be taught different things about the Force. You can be taught different things, which, cool, fine. I can get behind that. Makes sense. You know, you have like this power that you need to learn to control. I guess you can also learn to do certain things. Cool. Well, you know, it doesn't... We get teleportation now. That's it. We get teleportation. Things are just now happening with the Force, and the Force is now an excuse to get a character out of a sticky situation. Because Kylo Ren goes back to save Rey, gets surrounded by the Knights of Ren, who are the most pointless goddamn thing ever. Like, they were introduced in The Force Awakens, completely ignored in The Last Jedi. And this movie, they're there. I think there's a great line. I wouldn't say great line, but it was kind of funny. Two stormtroopers are just hanging out in the hallway. Kylo is walking, and behind him are the Knights of Ren. And one of the stormtroopers asks, who's that? And one of the stormtroopers is like, Knights of Ren. And the other one's like, cool. And that's it. That's all the Knights of Ren really do in this movie, is they provide stormtroopers some lines here. Now, I will give credit where credit is due. The teleportation thing, it's not necessarily new. I guess they kind of showed it in The Last Jedi. There were scenes when, I remember specifically right now, water comes up and hits Rey in the face, and then Kylo feels that on his face. It's kind of there. It's there. It's fine. It's set up. It's not happening like, out of the blue, like, oh my god, we just discovered this thing. That would be worse. But they now, I guess, like, that bond that they shared in The Last Jedi, wasn't that like set up by Snoke? Like, wasn't that like not like between them exclusively? Like, that was powered by Snoke, or I guess Palpatine, I guess, is the real power horse. The real power horse behind this whole thing. Like, Snoke didn't really do anything. I guess it's just all Palpatine. I don't know. Like, the bond that they shared was Snoke, right? I'm pretty sure I'm not insane. So we're just going with that. Like, that bond that they shared in The Last Jedi was powered by Palpatine. And I guess now they can power it themselves. They don't really need Palpatine or Snoke or whomever was powering that Force ability. And then the movie then shows Kylo and... oh, fuck, I lost my place here. Give me a second. Sorry. That is very unprofessional. Very unprofessional. Sorry. This is why I wrote things down. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Kylo and Rey can now heal each other. Now. If I remember correctly, the prequels pretty much established that the healing and keeping the ones you love from certain death, that's a bad thing. Like, that's just a bad thing. That's dark side power. You need a powerful Sith Lord to teach you these powers, and you're Gucci. But no. Oh my God. But no, that is not the case anymore. Now they can just willy-nilly do it however they fucking well please. Like, do they need to be taught things or not? Because they just do it. Like, do they just need to feel like they can do it and they can do it, or what? Is this powerful? Is the Force like a mystical power, or is it a superpower? Because right now, I'm getting the feeling it's a superpower. Because superheroes, they just have abilities, and they don't get trained in them. They just know how to do it, and that's it. So the Force is no longer like this mystical thing that can be harnessed and learned and taught. It's just a feeling. I don't know. This movie, it left me with conflicting feelings here because of how they handled the Force. Like, I guess you can make a strong argument here that Rey doesn't actually save anybody from death. She just heals. I mean, Kylo wasn't dead. He was dying and mortally wounded, and she healed him. But come on now. Well, like, where does it stop? Like, someone on their deathbed, 5 seconds left because of pancreatic cancer. She comes in and does a quick little hit. Like, is that saving a person from certain death? Is she dark side or not? Or does any of this matter? Does the prequels, the trilogies that happened before this trilogy, does that not matter anymore? I just don't get it. But Kylo, on the other hand, definitely and most certainly saves Rey from death. Like, she is dead. She is clearly dead, and he saves her. Cool, great, I guess. Was he trained in that? I don't think so. And apparently he's supposed to be redeemed at this point. But he's using very dark side power. If the prequel trilogy taught people anything, it's that you can't save everybody. Everybody has to die. That's just the fact of life. You can't stop death. Death is unstoppable. But obviously, when Disney's funding your fucking, Jedi training, you can do anything. It doesn't matter. You can use dark side abilities for the light. There's no lines anymore. Lines are being crossed. Dogs are sleeping with cats. There's pandemonium. Who knows? So yeah, there's a lot of talk of training and how to use the Force, but it's just not relevant anymore now, is it? Because they can just do things. They can just do things without any training at all. Like, training is just unnecessary at this point. You don't need to be trained. You just need to feel like you can do it, and then you can do it. That's all that matters. And like, I guess that goes to the original trilogy. Like, that was like the big thing. Like, you don't need to be a special person, even though you kind of were. Luke Skywalker was the son of Vader, yada yada. So like, you don't need to be this special person to use the Force. You can be anybody. Anybody can use the Force. You just need to learn how. Which, again, I guess that goes back to teaching. But there wasn't like a book of spells, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. And like, this movie is, and then the prequels kind of showed that yes, there is kind of a teaching how to use the Force in certain ways type of spell book. And then this trilogy tries to revert back to the old ways, which it just makes it a little too convenient for the plot, I will admit. Like, you don't have to be taught anything. You just got to feel like you can do it to get yourself out of the plot. Yeah. And we're going to move on from that. Kylo Ren to Ben Solo arc was not handled well. Let's just be honest here. Not handled well at all. Now, let's just get this out of the way right now. Adam Driver killed it as Kylo Ren in this whole trilogy. Killed it. Highlight of the whole trilogy. He nailed the character so well. From The Force Awakens to this movie. Handled it so well. I mean, just in his mannerisms in this movie, from his mannerisms from Kylo to Ben Solo, you can clearly tell. And it's a good thing too, because there's no real indication of that arc. I mean, there's obviously a visual indication when Kylo throws his lightsaber into the ocean, but after that, he doesn't get any lines. He does not get any lines. He hits a pillar, says "ow," and that's it. That's all Ben Solo says in this movie. How sad? How fucking sad is that? Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, the greatest character in this trilogy. Because good luck fucking trying to convince me that Rey is the better character, or that Poe, or that Finn. No. This trilogy should have been about Kylo Ren. It should have been about Kylo Ren. Should have been about Ben Solo. But it's not. And the character is wasted. Adam Driver's talents are sort of wasted. He showed up with game. He showed up with game, without a doubt. But holy shit, was it just wasted potential. Wasted potential. And the arc that is shown in this trilogy with Kylo Ren to Ben Solo, it happens so quick. Oh my god, is it so fucking quick? Like, you don't feel anything in that redemption arc at all. And like, I hate to compare it, but let's compare it right now. In Return of the Jedi, the redemption arc with Vader, like, there's a whole great scene between father and son. It's a fantastic scene. I have to go watch it again. It's been too long since I've seen a good Star Wars movie. I have to go watch it again. It's a great scene. It lingers. It makes you feel emotional. In this, he's redeemed. He goes to whatever that Sith planet's called. Who gives a fuck? And then he dies. He says "ow" when he hits a pillar, and then he dies. There's no scene. There's nothing. There's, I guess, a nice. I personally found it uncalled for, but a scene or a moment between Kylo and Rey. They kiss. Good feelings are shared, I guess. I was a little annoyed with it personally, but people in the theater were happy. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. Like, I thought it was unnecessary, but whatever. And then he dies. And then, like, there's nothing after that. There's nothing. He's just dead. There's a fucking burial scene in Return of the Jedi for Vader. And in this, he just vanishes, and then he's just gone. Like, he is just gone. There's no ceremony. There's nothing. And I'm about to say it. It's so sad, because it could have been great. It could have been wonderful. It could have been so good. Maybe not as good as the original trilogy, let's be honest. But it could have been so much better than what we got. And what we got was trash. Let's just be honest. It was trash. Like, you can like the film. I should say that for the end. But it's just could have been better. But let me go here. And then, okay, so like his whole redemption moment, he hears, so I keep going back and forth between my thoughts and then whatever. Anyways, sorry. His redemption arc, his redeeming moment is triggered by his mother's voice. She says Ben, and he's like, "Oh my god, I guess I'm gonna be good." Remember that moment in what was that wonderful movie, Batman versus Superman, when Superman says Martha, and Batman's like, what, my man, what'd you say? And then so that's the exact same moment. I believe, pretty sure it's written by the same guy. I don't give a fuck. So that happens in this movie. Leia says Ben, and Kylo Ren is no more. We have Ben. And then there was actually a really nice moment, I will admit, between Kylo Ren and his father, or I'm going to say father, or not Kylo Ren, sorry. Let me back up here. There is a nice moment between Ben Solo and his father, Han Solo. There is that nice moment. That was a good moment, but that scene was clearly written with Carrie Fisher in mind. Clearly written, but obviously with circumstances the movie was in, couldn't happen, obviously. And there's I know they use archived and unused footage of Leia for this movie, and I guess there wasn't anything that could be suited for that scene, which is fine. And like, it worked well enough, but the movie made it pretty clear that Han Solo was not a Force ghost. He was just a memory, as Ben Solo put it, not a Force ghost at all. But I think the scene would have worked a lot better had Carrie not passed. Yeah. And it's just like, you can't do anything about it. I guess I can't really hate on the scene too much because of what's happened. There's nothing you can do. It's one of those things where it's out of your control, nothing you can do. And it's unfortunate. It really is, because it would have been a lot better. But whatever. Let's move on. Rey's character arc is actually depressing and tragic. Like, I know it's supposed to be like she is supposed to be the hero of this trilogy, but it just doesn't feel that way. Doesn't feel that way at all. She's a Palpatine. Big spoiler alert right there. She is a Palpatine. And fine, I guess. Fine. It's fine. It's just fine. But the trilogy shows that bloodline is in fact very important when being a Jedi. Like, you know how great it would have been if she was just still a nobody that overcame all odds and defeated Palpatine. If Palpatine made it into this movie, that would have been so much better. But no, it takes a Palpatine to beat a Palpatine. Without it, just like, come on. Like, Rian Johnson tried to help Abrams out here by making Rey's parents nobody. But I guess Abrams was like, as a giant fuck you to that, was like, yeah, her parents were nobody, but her granddaddy, he was a bad dude who was very powerful. So we're gonna go with that, and that's how it is. And it's just like, wow, no. At least Johnson tried to make the idea that anybody can be a very powerful being, a Jedi. Let's just go with the movie. But then make people feel like you can be anything you want to be. Going back to that old message, you can do anything you want if you put your mind to it. That type of deal. But no, in this, if you want to be great, you got to be born from greatness. That's what I'm getting from this trilogy. Even more so in from The Force Awakens to The Rise of Skywalker. Rey struggles with her identity. She struggles with it. She wants to know who she is, why she's a nobody, where she came from, all this and that. And when she finally figures out and gets the answer she's wanted, she fucking rejects it. Just rejects it and becomes a Skywalker. She finds out she's a Palpatine, rejects it, and chooses to be a Skywalker. What message is like? It has a conflicting message in this, because Leia and Luke know who she is, but they're like, oh, but we recognized your spirit. You're gonna be a good person. Doesn't matter. But like, okay, she's a good person. You can be a good Palpatine then. But and then Leia says, never be afraid of who you are, but she still chooses to be a Skywalker. You can't choose. You can't change who you are just by changing a name. Like, and honestly, it would have been better if she would have just named herself Solo. Like, that would have been better than choosing Skywalker, because I feel like Solo, the last name Solo had a bigger impact on her than Skywalker. Because let's be honest, in the first one, she hung out with Han a lot. And in the second one, she had this Force bond with Ben Solo, or Kylo Ren, and she did get training from Luke. But let's be honest, there's not as much time as Han. Well, I guess at the same time if you want to count two movies, but whatever. And Leia, she didn't have that big of a connection to Leia. I didn't feel like that big of a connection with Leia. I think she looked up to Leia, but she didn't receive training from her really, except for that quick Force scene in this movie. And that's about it. I mean, I think she was obviously very upset and sad and like destroyed after Han died in the Force Awakens. And I guess they bonded with that mutual, sadness. But that's about it. I feel like Solo would have been the more appropriate name to apply here and not Skywalker. Like, it should have been Solo. And like, obviously that would have been hard to do with the title being Rise of Skywalker. But, I would have been more accepting of the Solo last name choosing thing than Skywalker. It just makes more sense. I feel like Solo had a bigger impact on her than Skywalker. And then even a more tragic thing that happens with Rey's character arc is in The Force Awakens, she starts off as a lonely scavenger, digging through Rebel, and that's just her. She's trying to live, but like she can't afford food barely, and she's just lonely, she's miserable. And then at the end of The Rise of Skywalker, she has a droid and is now a Jedi, lonely on a desert planet. So she went from lonely on one desert planet to lonely on another desert planet, and that is her character arc. That is Rey Skywalker, I guess. And it's just how did this happen? How it should have been Ben, honestly. It should have been Ben Solo that lived and Rey that died. It should have been that way. It should not have been this way, because Ben living and carrying on the Skywalker name would have been better. He could have started over. He could have learned from his mistakes, obviously, after he killed a lot of people, a lot of planets. But, I guess you can't really be redeemed after you wipe out a couple planets, I guess. And after you kill a couple people with your light, you can't be redeemed. Maybe. I don't know. It's a mess. Let's just put it that way. The Rise of Skywalker is a mess. And these are just like the bigger things the biggest problems I had with the movie. There are also very small problems. I wouldn't say small. There are other problems that I had. I mean, obviously, if Abrams helmed the entire trilogy, it would have been pretty much a beat-for-beat remake of the original trilogy. I mean, The Force Awakens is essentially a New Hope reboot. Fine. It's a safe beginning for a new trilogy. It'll get younger audiences on board because, who doesn't like a hero's journey story? That's what The Force Awakens was supposed to be. And then things got out of control in The Last Jedi with Rian Johnson. And then in this movie, it just feels like Abrams was trying to put two movies into one movie. I guess he was correcting what Johnson did, and then sometimes is flat out ignoring things that Johnson did. Like, for example, the lightsaber Luke's old lightsaber that was destroyed in The Last Jedi, it's just back. There's no explanation how it's back. It's just back. It was destroyed. It's gone. It's supposed to be gone, but there's no explanation how it's back. And it doesn't look recreated. It's just back. No, come on, Abrams. Come on now, buddy. I thought you were smarter than this. I guess not. I guess you're an actual fucking moron. What was another thing? Oh, god damn it. This slipped my mind again. We already talked about how Rey's parents were, in fact, nobody, but granddaddy was somebody. What was the other thing? God dang it. Now I remember. I got it. So remember in The Last Jedi, one of the biggest things that Kylo said was, let the past die, kill it if you have to. That is pretty much ignored right off the beginning with Kylo Ren, because he's looking for Palpatine. Now, admittedly, he's going there to kill him, but then is quickly swayed into following his orders to go kill Rey. Like, he's doing the exact opposite. Oh, man. And, of course, that whole let the past die, kill it if you have to, that whole thing was also kind of ignored in The Last Jedi, let's be honest here. But yeah, and pretty much J.J. Abrams did his best to ignore certain aspects of Last Jedi, as well as, I guess, fix things from The Last Jedi. No, I will admit, I am kind of a fan of Last Jedi. I know that film divides a lot of people, but there are people who either A, really like that film or what it tried to do, and I am a person who saw the potential of what it tried to do, and that's why I kind of like it, because it at least tried to be a little different than the previous trilogy, because they tried, like, it definitely borrowed things from Empire, and then those things were used in The Last Jedi. Like the cave scene in Empire is also in The Last Jedi. There's that. There are other things too, but I'm not here to talk about Last Jedi. But if you look at the Rise of Skywalker, there's very similar parallels to Return of the Jedi. Like the Emperor battle scene in the Rise of Skywalker, he makes Rey watch as her friends die, just like the way he did to Luke. Really, Abrams. And then, let's go back. Oh my God. Ooh, I just remembered something. See, I didn't write this down. Palpatine's Force Lightning, super fucking powerful at one moment. He shoots it up and pretty much makes the whole the Resistance starships, shoots up with lightning, disables them. They're all spiraling out of control. I mean, this lightning is super powerful. Like it made the base in the theater, the whole theater rumbled, and it was great. It was awesome. It was kind of awesome, I will admit. But then he goes to use his Force Lightning on Rey and doesn't do the same type of power. Like instead of going up to 11 like he did the Resistance, he brought it back down to 2 to go against Rey and then dies. Are you kidding me right now, Palpatine? You had that power. What is your problem, sweetheart? What is your problem? I don't get it. He is clearly very powerful and could have killed Rey. But I guess Rey gotta live because Disney, everyone's gotta live because of Disney. I don't think does Rey actually kill anybody with her lightsaber? Like, I know she kills a couple stormtroopers in The Last Jedi. She doesn't kill Kylo. She doesn't really, I guess you can argue that she killed Palps with the lightsaber, but not really. Because she just shoots his lightning back at him. Rey doesn't really kill him with the lightsaber. What is with Disney? I guess Disney can't have their main star killing people. I don't know. She kills stormtroopers, but those aren't actual characters. I'm really trying to remember. And then she spent time with Luke, but didn't leave until to face off with Kylo, and Kylo kills Snoke. Yeah, I really can't remember if maybe that's the thing in Star Wars, because Luke didn't really kill anybody either. Nobody major, at least. Interesting. I'm going to devolve into that later, but yeah. Abrams definitely, this whole trilogy was a mistake. It really was. It should have been more well thought out. I mean, can you imagine? No, you don't have to imagine. I'm just going to tell you. Disney was able to make a 22 film arc with the Avengers and all those movies. 22 films. Made a whole arc. Fantastic. And they couldn't do a 3 fucking movie arc. Are you kidding me right now? Like, oh, come on. It could have been so much better. It could have been a lot better. And like, honestly, when the trailers and everything was coming out, Rise of Skywalker, I just was not excited for it. I couldn't get in the mood for it. I just wasn't feeling it. It just didn't look quite good, I guess. And I couldn't understand what the story was at all. Like, there really isn't much of a story in this movie. Like, it just, because it goes from plot point to plot point to plot point without really explaining or explaining very little what's going on. Like, I guess they need to find a wayfinder to stop Palpatine, and that's it. But it's just, it was just exhausting to get through. And even watching them, I don't know if I don't know if I was exhausted trying to like keep up with everything or what, but the movie just didn't have the same type of energy that The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi had. Like those movies had some energy to it. And in this movie, it just felt like they were doing things, getting the shot, and then moving on. Like there were some cool shots in there. I guess the cool shots were also seen in the trailers, but I did really like the shot with Rey running from Kylo's ship, jumping in the air, clipping the wing, and that was a good shot. I like that shot a lot. And also the battle on Endor, I guess when the remnants of the Death Star, I'm pretty sure it was Endor, the remnants of the Death Star, Kylo and Rey are going at, and that was a pretty good fight scene. It was nice to see, it wasn't like over exaggerately long like previous lightsaber battles, because Rey was looking pretty tired after a little bit. And then I guess Kylo was pretty much toying with her after that because he's a real dick. But even that scene itself felt very similar. Like it was pretty much the battle on Mustafar with between Kenobi and Anakin. It was pretty much that battle, very similar. But instead of molten hot lava, it's just water. Like it was very similar. And Abrams, my man, your biggest downfall in these two Star Wars movies that you have made is relying so much on nostalgia. Like even Lando's like surprise appearance. Now, not necessarily like I knew he was gonna be in the movie. So not necessarily like, oh, Lando's in this movie, how surprised. No, how he like first appeared on screen was not a surprise. Because I've seen Return of the Jedi. Lando was in a disguise. And in this movie, guess what? He is in a disguise, and that's how he's introduced. And right then, like when he shot some stormtrooper in the eye, I was like, that's Lando. He had to be all secretive about it, and then that's Lando. And then there was the whole Chewie and the medal, finally getting a medal from A New Hope. That scene's in there. We have Luke's obvious X-Wing fighter. We have Palpatine, obviously. And very similar, like I said, we have another Palpatine and battle between someone not really shouldn't be battling. Like Luke wasn't ready to battle Palpatine, and Rey's definitely not ready to battle Palpatine, but they both end up winning. I mean, there's very, very similar things here. And Abrams just relies on nostalgia and the fact the audience will probably remember certain things and be like, oh, wow, I remember that. I'm having a good time. And I'm not. I'm just not having a good time with this at all. And like I said earlier, this movie and its decisions really just kind of ruined Luke's and Anakin's story arc. Just really ruined. And they're props now. They're props. Rey is now the face of Star Wars. Like she is the new face of Star Wars. It's not about Luke anymore. It's not about Anakin Skywalker. It's just about Rey. And let's get into Anakin Skywalker real quick. Because god damn it, where is my boy Christian? Like holy shit, out of all the stuff, out of all the nostalgic bullshit I had to trifle through in this movie, you could have given me Christian Hayden as a Force Ghost. We got his voice, and that's it. Why is Disney so adamant in like avoiding everything that the prequels have or did? Like they are really just avoiding it. Like even like their promotions, like they show a lot of the original trilogy footage, very little from the prequel trilogy. Very little. They bought that. They do know that, right? They bought the prequel trilogy as well. That wasn't a separate thing. That was also part of the deal when they bought Lucasfilm. But right now they are just ignoring the prequel trilogy so freaking hard. Like, okay. I just had a thought. It would have been that scene with Han Solo and Ben Solo on the remnants of the Death Star. Obviously it was written for Carrie, but holy shit, the movie would have been the movie would have been better if Christian Hayden showed up as Darth Vader to teach Ben Solo there, a little bit about forgiveness and redemption, but no, didn't get that. We got Han. No, admittedly, I was pretty excited to see Han there again. I was like, oh wow, was not expecting that. But now thinking about it, it should have been Christian. It should have been Anakin Skywalker there. It should have been, because obviously Kylo Ren or Ben Solo or however you want to call him, he has this idea of Darth Vader, but he doesn't have the full story. And if he had the full story, it would have made more sense. It would have made more sense than it just would have made more sense. He would have gotten the full story of who Anakin was, and not just, I guess, cherry-picked remnants of who Darth Vader was. Because obviously he believes Darth Vader was always this evil person, always. But no, that's not the case. He was actually, start off good, innocent, but turned evil. And that's all he knows about him. It would have been a great teaching moment for Kylo Ren or Ben Solo, however you want to call him, to show that you can be redeemed, you can be saved, you can be good. Your destiny is not written. You make up how you go. You make yourself who you are, is what I'm trying to say. And you know what? That message is kind of there, but not really. Because, yeah, Rey chooses to be Skywalker. I'm just now circling my same ideas. So yeah, that's how I feel about the Rise of Skywalker. It's not good. Not good at all. Could have been better. And it's tragic. It really is. Because, like, goddamn, Star Wars has been it still is important to me. Like, I grew up with Star Wars. My parents introduced me to Star Wars when I was just a wee lad. My parents loved Star Wars. Like, it's been a part of our lives for so long. And it just sucks and it hurts kind of to see it divulge into what it is now. And I wanted to like this new trilogy so bad. I really did. I really wanted to like it and love it, just like I liked the prequels. For all their faults, I love the prequels. At least there's an actual overarching story in the prequels. Love the original trilogy. But yeah. And then there's this trilogy, which doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything. There's nothing new. It just feels... It doesn't really even feel kind of like apart. Like, it feels distant from the prequels and the original trilogy. It just feels distant. It feels like everything got smaller in this trilogy. And nothing's ever really built upon or expanded. It just feels small. And it's sad. It really is. 2019 has been a bitch to endings. We got a terrible ending to Game of Thrones. And now we have a terrible ending to the Skywalker saga, which, let's be honest here, it's not about Skywalker anymore. It's about fucking Palpatine. He's the puppet master. It's always been about him now. It's always been about him. It's always been about his legacy, and it is now forever and will always be about Rey. And that sucks, because they took something that was important to me and rewrote it, and it just sucks. So yeah, as you can tell, Rise of Skywalker, not the play for me at all. I didn't like it. I don't like the trilogy that much anymore, to be honest. Or the sequel trilogy, as people call it. Don't like that much, to be honest, anymore. It sucks. It really, really sucks. So if you're a fan of Star Wars, I mean, I'm not going to tell you to not go see this movie, because I wanted to see it, because I wanted to see maybe the reviews weren't that bad, or maybe the reviews were exaggerating how bad it, but no, it's really not that good. And I'm not here to tell you not to like it. I don't want to take that away. Like, my mother, she loved the movie, and that's awesome. I wish I could like it as much as she liked it, but unfortunately, it didn't work out for me. How sad. But yeah, if you're a fan of Star Wars, yeah, I guess you should go see it. You should see how this whole story, this 9-movie arc, ends. And if you're not a fan of it, or if you're not a fan of Star Wars, then you probably shouldn't see this movie, because there's a lot of fan service in this movie that you probably won't understand or get. And yeah, that's it. That's, I guess, my kind of review for this movie. Would not recommend. If I had to put a score on it, I guess 4 out of 10. I mean, there are certain things I did like the action, the set pieces, the sound design, like the Sith planet. It looked great visually. It sounded great. The little star battles we did get were nice. Adam Driver killed it. And yeah, so 4 out of 10, which is not good. Like, even the prequels, that's how I keep acting like I'm going to finish up here. But in the prequels, you can go back to them now, watch them, because of all like the memes that have come out of it. And it's fun to watch now. And with this movie, there will be no fun memes. I feel like the hardcore Star Wars fan base, I get the feeling they're not going to like this movie. Like, people who have liked the original trilogy are not going to like this movie. People who really loved the original trilogy and were so about the original sequel trilogy are really going to hate this movie. And yeah, I think this movie is just going to finally unite the fan base once again. Like, Last Jedi divided the fan base like hardcore, like a split fucking divide. But this movie, we can finally all come together and say, wow, that fucking sucked. Well, everybody, that does it for me. I hope you enjoyed this very long, extended review podcast episode of The Rise of Skywalker. I hope you enjoyed listening to me. I hope you maybe got some insight into the movie a little bit here and there. I don't know. Maybe if you agree with some of the things I said, disagree, however you want to do. You could check me live. Not now, but you should come to my Twitch channel and we can talk more Star Wars, because yeah, it's one of my favorite things ever. Star Wars is awesome. Still is. Just not this trilogy. Catch me live at twitch.tv/deadlynutofbutter. Hope to see you there. I won't be on probably I'll be on after Christmas, but for right now, hopefully this episode holds you over. I appreciate you all for listening, for the support. Comment down below if you've seen Rise of Skywalker. Wow, why do people still do that? I have no idea. If you've seen the Rise of Skywalker, what'd you think? Tell me about it. You love it? You hate it? Holy shit, I'm the melon now. Anyways, I'm out. Thank you all again for listening. Toodaloo.